Hello everyone, welcome back to another track guide. This time we're at Road America and we're going to be using the Ferrari GT3. First I'll show the Hotlap and then after that we'll get into the track guide. So for turn 1 I'm lifting and braking just before the 3 cones and I'm going down to 3rd gear. I'm really aiming to get on the inside of the curb, trying to position the right side tires into the grass. And make sure you're getting back on the track before this little bit of runoff here ends. You can go into the dirt up ahead a little bit, but if the middle of the car is to the right of that gray curb, you can pick up a 1x there. And for turn 2, I'm braking right at this little white line that's associated with the 2 marker. Make sure you're following this, you're positioning your right side tires and on this inside curb and following it throughout the duration because you can get some more rotation from it. And like the previous corner, try to get back on the racing surface before this gray runoff ends. So through this little bit here, you don't want to hug the right side of the track because you're just going to end up traveling a longer distance. So I'm approaching the braking zone for the hairpin kind of diagonally, and you'll just travel a shorter distance. So for the hairpin, I'm braking just before the 2 marker, or also where the gravel turns into the concrete on the right. You can really use a lot of this track on entry. If you run really close to the wall, you can get a slowdown here, as I'll show. So if you're like really close to the wall, it's kind of hard to tell in this view. You can get a slowdown. So you kind of, there really is no clear reference point here as to how much you can use. So what I'm trying to do is keep the car in the middle between the curb on the left and the wall on the right, and that seems to be fairly consistent. But yeah, the closer you get to this wall, could be a little dangerous, but I haven't really had any problem. I've only gotten one slowdown in my runs here, so just keep that in mind. And for the apex here, I'm trying to cut this curb, trying to get my left side tires into the grass a little bit, because once again that can help pull the car in. Try to stay out of the gravel. You can take a little bit of it, but you can get an off track if you take too much. Now for this blind corner, I'm braking before that porta potty on the right, and you don't want to brake too hard because you're going over a crest here and the car gets really light once you get over it. I'm going down to second gear right as I begin braking. Once again here you want to go over this curb on the left. And like a common theme on this track, try to get back onto the track before this gray runoff ends. This is in optimal conditions this can be flat. However here I need to do a little bit of a lift. I'm also trying to get the right side tires into the grass here once again, just to help with the rotation. So for this corner, I'm braking in between the 2 and the 3 marker. Also on entry, you want to be careful not to brake on this curb on the right, because that can unsettle the rear and it'll really compromise this corner. There's lots of grip on the inside here, so make sure you're taking advantage of it. You want to get close to the grass. Matter of fact, dip your left side tires into the grass, and you can confidently get back on the power. There's, like I said, it's a bit of a compression at the apex here. Once again, trying to get back to the track before the runoff ends. For the carousel, I'm aiming to turn in right at this exit road on the left. And then to get through here efficiently, you want to have as little inputs with brake and throttle. So once you start to feel the car wanting to push out wide, you want to lift. Use a little bit of brake, we're talking like less than 5%. And then as you feel the car begin to grip up again, or when you start seeing the end of this green barrier on the right, that's my cue to get back on the power. And you really want to stay on the inside here. There's lots of compression on the inside. If you run out wide on the exit, you'll just go straight into the grass. The kink is an easy flat. Coming up to Canada corner, I'm braking before the 3 marker. I'm going all the way down to second gear. You can use third gear in the Ferrari as well. I just found it to be a little less consistent. I like the rotation you get from second. Once again, trying to get into the dirt a little bit. Slight lift in the middle of this corner. You don't want to go all the way to the grass here, because the grass is a bit elevated, so it has a tendency to push you out wide. I'm just trying to aim for this curb on the inside. And for the final corner, I'm braking right after this little white line. Also, it's kind of hard to tell with this bright sun, but the tarmac changes into a different shade of black, and that's another reference you can use. You want to get the car to this curb as soon as you can. It can help with the rotation. Once again, try to keep the middle of the car on the right side of this red and yellow curb. And that's a track guide for Road America. Wish you guys good luck in your racing, and I'll see you next week.